Hey, what's up guys, it's Bakes here and thank you for joining me for this Valentine's Day edition of my random horror reviews. This is my second year of doing the Valentine's Day episode, so pretty excited to get into it. Today's movie is one that I picked out a handful of days ago. I am spewing that I didn't do my Human Centipede review that I did the other day for Valentine's Day. I think that would have been pretty funny, but either way, to be fair, today's movie is probably better suited for the occasion. So without delaying any longer, today's movie is from 2017, directed by Guillermo del Toro, and it is The Shape of Water. For those who haven't seen this movie, or maybe have, this is definitely not straight up horror. It's more of a drama and romance over a horror film, but it's my channel, so fuck it, I decided to do The Shape of Water. There is moments of like blood and maybe situational horror. The main aspect comes from the fact we have a fish man, and probably more so the fact that our main character falls in love with the fish man. In my eyes, that's pretty horrific, but you know, each to their own. Either way, getting into the plot for this one, this movie takes place in, I'm trying to find it here, my guess is the 50s, 1962 Cold War era America, so there we go. And we follow our main character, Eliza, who works in this government facility. She's a mute, so cannot speak. And while working in this facility, she comes across this creature that they're working on, which, as I said, is a fishman. And she starts to form this relationship with the fishman and tries to keep him alive and safe. And that's pretty much our story in this one. So, without delaying any longer, let's get into Guillermo del Toro's 2017 film, The Shape of Water. So where I wanted to touch on first with this movie is with its style and aesthetic. As I said before, it's set in Cold War era America, 1962. So the costuming, designs, sets, you know, it all suits that sort of era. The world that's created, you know, the cities are kind of dirty, but then there's also pops of neons and everything. The colours in this movie are also really beautiful, you know, lots of greens and blues that sort of go with the fishman himself, because that's the colour of his scales, and there's moments in the movie where he glows. And also the score in this movie is really fucking good, like really nice music and use of sound. These are all aspects that director Guillermo del Toro has always been really good at. But continuing on, I also really like the performances that we get in this movie and the characters. Our lead, Eliza, is played by Sally Hawkins, and she, to me, is an underrated actress. Like, whenever I see her pop up in something, which I'm actually surprised, like, how little I've seen her in, but whenever I see her in something, I always think she does a really good job. Like I said in my introduction and plot description, she plays a mute in this movie, so no dialogue, but she does a really good job. And I also just like her character. You know, she's the cleaner at this government facility, so when she starts to form this relationship with the fishman, you know, she's sneaking in and out, and you know, I just like that. It's sly, but it's cute because, you know, they're forming this relationship together. We also have Octavia Spencer in this movie. She's great as always. Oh my god, I'm blanking on his name. The dad from Step Brothers. He's in so much other things as well, but he's in this movie. He's also great. But another performance I wanted to highlight is Michael Shannon. He plays the villain in this movie. Yeah, surprise, surprise, the villain is not the fishman. Even in the original Creature of the Black Lagoon, you know, the fishman's always been a hero, but in this movie, Michael Shannon plays the villain, and it's fucking Michael Shannon, so he smashes it out of the park. Super intimidating, but also oddly likable. You know, I just really like our cast and performances in this movie. So getting into some storyline stuff now, and rewatching the film this time around, I wish that they built up the reveal of the fishman a little bit more. Like, I understand it's no secret that there's a fishman in this movie, like, in all the trailers, read any description, you know, as I said, they're not keeping it a secret. He's on the fucking cover, for fuck's sake. Like, there is no mystery that he's a character in this movie. But he's revealed in his whole glory, like a full body reveal within the first 25 minutes. I wish there was a bit more of a mystery and a build up to it. Like, the first time you see a glimpse of him, his hand gets pressed up against the glass and it's sort of played out like a bit of a jump scare sort of thing. But when our main character Eliza first enters the lab, like sneaking in to get a glimpse herself, she walks straight up to the tank and he he's just there, like in his full body. I wish there was a bit more of a reveal, because the first time that full body reveal happens, it feels not very grand. It feels like it just sort of happened. Like, I would really like a bit more mystery, like she's peeking through the tank and you see something in the distance or something like that. Like, it doesn't really feel like much of a grand reveal. The Fishman himself, like the design of him, I'm kind of split on it. Like, it's very Del Toro. Like, what was that other movie he had a Fishman in? I think it was Hellboy. Like, it's kind of like that sort of design. Very humanoid in a way, which, like, of course, it's a fish man. I wish he looked a little bit more monster, like a bit more grotesque, but I understand because it's a love story and they need to fall in love. And, if they went full gross, slimy scales and ooze everywhere, like it doesn't make it too appealing as a love story. But I wish they went a little bit more monster with his design. But at the end of the day, I don't hate it either. As I said, there's moments where he glows, and overall it's not a bad design, and I understand why they went with a more human approach, I guess. I want to try and keep this review on the shorter side, so I'm just going to touch on a couple of other things before I wrap it up. To get into the romance and love angle of this story, I feel like they fall in love romantically a little bit too fast, especially because of the fact he's a fish man. I feel like, there's more thought that goes into falling in love with a fish man. But either way, like, she explains why she has this bond with him, and, they like each other and everything. And when they first interact, it's a bit more of a friendship sort of thing. Like, she just wants to protect him because this facility is doing experiments on the fishman, and as I said, it's a bit more of that kind of bond. But still, they fall in love romantically a little bit too fast. And as I said, especially for a fishman, I'm not judging or anything, but I feel like there is usually a bit more of a thought process before you get to that stage, like even with fucking humans. So that to me was a little bit weird, but I understand it's the whole point of the story. I am a little bit taken back at how she explains the anatomy of getting it on with a fishman. I feel like that went into a little bit too much detail, and really it's only like 5 seconds of explaining, but it's probably too much than what I need to hear. Either way, I'm just going to wrap this up. The Shape of Water, I've always liked this movie. Like, as I said, the aesthetic, the designs of everything, the setting, our characters, it really is a beautiful movie. As I said, it's not horror, really. It's got small aspects, but as a horror fan, there's still a lot I enjoy. I can obviously pick out little nitpicks of being like, oh, I wish there was more gore and everything, but it's not that movie, but for the movie it is still really enjoyable. I'm going to give The Shape of Water an 8.5 out of 10. As I said, I wanted to keep this one on the shorter side. One, because it's not straight up horror, and you guys are probably wondering, where is the fucking horror at? But I saw this movie on my shelf and I went, you know what, haven't seen it in a while. It's suited for the holidays, so why not give The Shape of Water a rewatch? And here we are. So thank you for those people who did enjoy this episode and sat through to the end. If you have your thoughts on The Shape of Water, let me know in the comments below, guys, and I'll see you for another video soon. Thanks for joining me.